to reduce traffic fatalities. This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The St. Louis Chess Club's new restaurant is set to open this spring. Located in the Central West End, the Noble Crown will offer, quote, elevated American favorites in a space thoughtfully designed with subtle nods to the strategy and beauty of chess. The Markets, now brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is down 398 points to 49,013, NASDAQ up 211 at 23,812, and the S&P 500 up 32 at 6,982. In sports, SLU basketball has moved up to number 21 in the latest Associated Press poll. The Billikens face the George Washington team tonight at Chaffetz. And Mizzou basketball takes on number 23 Alabama tonight in Tuscaloosa. We're looking for sunny skies today, a high near 30, mostly clear tonight, an overnight low around 2 degrees. Sunny tomorrow, a high of 30. Then temperatures fall. 20 the high on Thursday, and highs in the teens on Friday and Saturday. Right now at 10:07, we have sunshine, 25 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And now, the Frank and Jill Show. It's Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at stlmedweightloss.com.
Good morning and welcome. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Frank Cusimano with Jill Farmer, Connor McCarthy. Good guest list today. Dr. Rick at 10:35. Joe Holloman at 11:08. Royal Banks of Missouri text line open 84126. And you can watch us on YouTube if you're really bored. Good to see you. How are you today, Jill?
I am doing well. We lost power for a few hours late yesterday afternoon into evening, and that was not on my bingo card. But fortunately, Ameren crew's working hard. Much of the neighborhood was out. Heidi was out as well. They came back before us, but then we did get it back by early evening. So
2 hours?
I think it was about 3.5, yeah, total.
Mark Dorsey just told me that he heard me talking about shoveling snow, and he says, it's all about the snowblower. Do you have one?
We do not, but we don't, we could use one for the alley particularly, but we don't really want to store one at this point in life.
Well, I tell you what.
You could really use one, though, because you have a very steep driveway.
The worst ever. And he says he just got it done. Boom, 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 boom. Man, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
What are snowblowers? You think 400 or 500? Anybody know what?
We will look it up right now. The problem, I think, is then it's sort of expected if you have one, then you need to help your neighbors out too, right?
Is that right?
Okay, so let's get an update on your back. You got taken out by the dog yesterday, but you're fine today?
Absolutely fine, yeah. So what do we got there, Connor?
You can get like a few $100. You can get up to like $800 if you want one of the really nice big ones.
What's the low end of
like $100, $200
wow,
for some?
That's nothing.
But they're kind of look small though.
Yeah,
so
it's all about having a wide enough base that you don't have to do.
I think those are for like more small walkways.
Oh,
so
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I bet we have some texters that have incredible snow blowers, and it's just the last couple of days were a breeze for them.
Especially with the snow being particularly light this time around, I think that made a big difference.
Fluffy.
Yeah, it was even shoveling wasn't as bad as it has been in the past. Even that December snow was a tougher shovel than this one, I think.
It does have a. This is going to sound almost like I'm a person that likes to inflict pain, but
a sadist.
Yes, when a dog goes out there like in the morning and just kind of forgets that the white stuff is really cold, they're like paralyzed, their paws, and they lift them up in the air like there's an injury. And I got to tell you, I've gotten a kick out of both these dumb dogs of mine, Hank and Reg, just putting their paws in that snow for the first time and forgetting, I guess, that it's really going to make you really cold, and they just freak out, and their paws are way up high, and they're looking like they're having a heart attack. It is. Monique says you're really terrible, but I get a kick out of it.
This is not to be unkind, but I think that's kind of the doodle in them. I mean, my dog doesn't do that, and then my dogs have done that. They just go out there and start bounding in the snow. I'm not criticizing their hardiness, but I do think that's the doodle in them. You need to spend $400, Frank, on a fairly small one with an electric start. Those bigger ones are like wrestling an elephant. not done. I bought a snow thrower 10 years ago, and every year I tell my wife it's the best investment I ever made. So you're already getting them roaring in on the text line here saying it's a good call. It's one of those things that when you need it, you really, really need it. And then the rest of the time it's taking up space. You wonder, would I really need it this year?
Yeah, and in terms of investment, if you think about what you pay to have somebody professionally do it, 3 or 4, that pays it off right there.
Right, and the convenience of it not having to, and just being able to do it on your own timeline. You guys specifically, though, because you have a fairly steep driveway, you're never going to get by with even a few inches of snow just leaving it. Most of the time you got to get it off there. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, unless you have one of your fancy cars where you can just plow through. I mean, I'm driving Pintos and Vegas and stuff. I can't get up a hill.
That's right. Is that what they're calling Audis these days?
Yeah, right.
Vegas? I didn't know. I'm not that into cars, so I didn't realize that was the term you were using for them.
Corded electric snowboarder starts every time. We shovel paths and spots in the backyard for the dogs. We have a beagle and a chihuahua. Okay, nice.
My beagle, Frankie, Ruby, back in the day, we went up to see my in-laws when they were living in Omaha at the time. And I'm talking like 2-3 feet of snow, and then you just see his head just bounding up and down. It was like his happiest.
Well, the video
ever.
of a dog skidding across the snow is one of the coolest things you can see, or just hopping. It's cool.
Yeah, the dachshund, who's fairly low to the ground, isn't as crazy about it. I mean, when she was younger, she loved it more. She was more playful. Now it's sort of like, okay, but she doesn't seem to mind it. And she goes out and does what she needs to do and comes back in again.
All right, we got a good opening dialogue coming your way in just about 3 or 4 minutes.
We do. I mentioned we were out of power yesterday, which, of course, the house got cold fast, and it reminded me of what happened a few years ago when our furnace went out, 20-plus years old, and we were in a pickle. I didn't have my relationship yet with Premier Heating and Cooling. Called somebody last minute. It was just a rather strange experience, right? I had no understanding of what I should be paying for a furnace, didn't have a chance to really shop around to figure out what brands have the best warranties, how long it's going to be there. And then we had some issues once it did get installed that had to be corrected because there were some problems. The installers were, quote, new at installing. And so we had issues. So what I'm saying to you is if your furnace is up there in age like mine was, it really does behoove you to reach out to our friends at Premier Heating and Cooling and have them come out, do that assessment, let you know how much longer you potentially have with your furnace, begin the shopping process so you can budget, you know what to expect, you know what kind of features you want to see in it, what kind of efficiency you want. And by the way, they do have payment plans available. So if it does turn out you need one right away or sooner than later, they want to work with you on financing as well. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122.
Hey, it's Heidi, and if the new year means a new look for your home, look no further than Dalco Home Remodeling. Let me just tell you, customers could not be happier. If you're looking for new windows, Dalco Home Remodeling has you covered. If you're looking for a new door, they can custom make you a front door. They can do French doors, they can do sliding doors, and they can stain it or paint it to whatever you have going on or whatever new color you want to add. Let me just tell you about some of the happy clients. You've got Alex, who said, I had Dalco replace several windows and doors on one of my properties, did a top quality job for me, would definitely recommend. And he's just one of many. Dalco Home Remodeling has been around for more than 50 years. They are family owned and family operated. So if you're ready to get your dream project underway, go to DalcoHomeRemodeling.com. You can also give them a call at 314-298-7300.
You've had all these great ideas about what to do with your outside space. Now's the time to take the next step and call Outdoor Living, because Pat Leahy and the gang at Outdoor Living have built a showroom which is a great resource for you. You can go in and see all the products they have, the composite decking, the metal framing. You see, at Outdoor Living, what they pride themselves on is building it right the first time and never having to worry about it again. So they build it. You can enjoy it for the rest of your life. Outdoor Living, their showroom on Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, is a great resource for you. You can go and see all the different ways and all the different things they can do. Then they'll come out, they'll do a site visit, and in just a few short weeks, you will have the dream deck, fence, gazebo, pergola, whatever it may be. Outdoor Living, right there in Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, 314-966-3325. or OutdoorLivingInc.com. Check out the showroom and take that next step. You'll love it. Outdoor Living or OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, here we go. Thought one. The story of Katie Meyer. You may have heard about it. She was a goalie on the Stanford soccer team. She helped them to win the national championship in 2019. She made some great saves when the game went to penalty kicks to allow Stanford to beat that national power North Carolina. Later, she became the captain of the team. She also took her life 3 years after that national championship game. She was facing disciplinary action from the University of Stanford. Stanford football player tried to kiss without consent one of her Stanford teammates in 2021. She allegedly either threw coffee or spilled coffee on his back, causing burns. So she was facing disciplinary action from the school. Her parents were not informed of what was going on. They claim she was undergoing acute stress during the process because the matter meant her degree would be put on hold, which would prevent her from graduating. Her teammates described her as a larger-than-life team player. So the parents sued Stanford in a wrongful death case. It was scheduled to go to trial later this year, and it was resolved late yesterday. So no real details, although Stanford is launching an initiative to deal with mental health problems. So sad. You think of all the possibilities that could have happened while this was going on. Could a friend have had a great conversation with her and encouraged her to talk to somebody? Maybe they did. Could the parents have been more vigilant in checking in during this process? Maybe they did. I don't know. There is now a Katie Meyer bill in California which allows a student to have an advisor with them when facing charges like this in the future. But what a sad, terrible story this is out of Stanford.
With the help of a little bit of help from ChatGPT, I decided I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, and I wrote something called An Ode to the Snow-Covered Sedan. Dear neighbor of the I-64 lane, with snow piled high like meringue, before you merge and hit the gas, a tiny favor, just one ask. That roof you left so winter white, it's not a hat, it will take flight. At 65, it breaks apart and slams the windshield of my car. Where someone briefly meets their fate and whispers, wow, that escalated. And trucks, oh trucks, majestic tall, creating blizzards for us all. Your rolling fog of airborne snow turns highways into Mario Kart level pro. So grab a brush, a broom, a sleeve, a credit card, a sense of decency, 2 quick swipes, front, back, and top. And suddenly the chaos stops because snow is lovely, snow is fun, snow days thrill everyone. But snow at 70 miles an hour, that's just reckless winter power. So brush it off. Be kind, be cool. Let's make this the Midwest rule. Clear the car, save lives, be a gem, and keep the snow off your windshield, friend.
Wow, very well done. I'd love to hear from our texters, too. How many are really affected by this? Have you been hit?
Oh, multiple times today.
Right.
I mean, there were so many more cars on the highway today, which is why I wrote this. It was just hilarious. Second I pulled onto I-64, 2 cars ahead of me. And also, they hadn't even cleared their back windshield a little bit. I was like, you cannot see out the back of your car. And then I got stuck behind a truck for a while, and it was literally like I was in the middle of a fog and a blizzard all at once. I had to get around them just because it's just no joke. It just doesn't take that long.
No.
That's the thing I can't figure out. I get it. When your car's outside, you're going to have a lot of snow on it after these few days, but just take a broom, please. Make
Connor,
it safer for the rest of us.
Have you been hit by snow while you're driving in the highway?
Wasn't hit by anything. A couple people didn't have it done on the drive-in I saw, but it was kind of just like
just dropping down.
like a dusting off the top. It was like a trail, like a comet. But
I wonder if we got a texter that's actually been hit that may have caused an accident or may have hurt their windshield.
Yeah, this was light enough snow. It didn't. It just kind of came off in I want to say a 12 by 12 chunk. And it's just startling and distracting. And I think that's the point, that I'm trying to be somewhat lighthearted and not too much of a Karen about it. But seriously, please brush your cars off, guys.
All right. Thought 2. The most interesting man on television, Bill Maher. And I want to get a response from our texters about Bill Maher, whether they like him or they don't. Wanda Sykes joked at the Golden Globes, Bill Maher, you give us so much, but I would love a little less. He really, because of his anti-woke stance, has alienated a big percentage of Democrats. Yet, make no mistake, he is a classic old-school liberal. He talks at length about economic inequality, cares about access to health care and climate change, and he disagrees with Donald Trump on most issues. I would say at least 75% of his opening monologue, maybe even more, is anti-Trump. But when he praises Trump for actions on the border or Trump's strikes in Iran or his views on biological men playing women's sports, it really upsets people. And when he went to the White House and dined with Trump, it caused an uproar. But it didn't change Maher's views on the left. I mean, he was ripping Trump to shreds 5 days after their dinner in the White House. And now he's urging Hollywood to shut up because they're not doing Democrats any favors. He says you don't strike people in most of the country as sensible or in touch with reality, so stay out. What I do like about him the most, though, is that he calls out people on both sides. He calls out the people on the right. He calls out the people on the far left. And he interviews, or shall I say, debates people on both sides. Friday night, he had the Republican Senator John Kennedy on. So the Club Random podcast, the real-time TV program, they are appointments for me each week. I'd love to get our texters' response, 84126. How do you feel about Bill Maher?
Do we think Bill Maher knows what's going on with regular people? His criticism was that
interesting thought.
Hollywood doesn't know, but Bill Maher does. I find that a little rich.
It's a great thought because I did look this up too. He's worth $140 million. Is he in touch with reality and the everyday people? But I do find him fascinating, and I think everybody, I don't know if anybody could deny he's not pretty smart.
Whatever party you're a member of, you should appreciate the people that are willing to be critical and think critically about your party. And everybody on both sides of the aisle has become so sensitive and immediately attacks and shuts down anybody that tries to express an opinion that's different than what the party line is. And that's dangerous. That's a dangerous way for us all to live. We all need to have people that say, you can't just immediately, even just look at the president's response to Senator Hawley and the others initially that spoke up against the way that he handled the attack in South America. Most recently, and just the immediate vitriolic, you're terrible human beings, as opposed to allowing dissension in there. We all have to be thinking differently about how we can handle that with each other, I think. Thought two for me today. I've been watching him for about a year now. What do you guys think? How is the Starbucks CEO, Brian Niccol, doing? Has his back to basics philosophy worked? It's still the number one coffee place to buy coffee in the United States by a long shot. And we've talked about it before. In his first year, Niccol poured millions of dollars into improving the in-store experience, more barista training, ceramic mugs for dine-in customers, fixing broken outlets, even rewriting how employees greet people. Also made some tougher calls, closing hundreds of U.S. locations, restricting bathrooms to paying customers. And he brought back something many customers quietly missed, including me, the condiment bar, meaning I can once again add my own cream or milk to my tea. You can add it to your coffee. Now Nichols wants to go further, more comfortable seating, easier drink pickup, better food availability, because we all know how often they're out of the breakfast or snack items at Starbucks when you go in hungry. And he even says he'd like to see more meaningful messages written on cups. I don't care so much about that. It's more of a timeliness matter for me. Investors watching closely. Sales have been sluggish and profits dipped in his first year, but now they say the changes are starting to pay off. Record holiday sales, and stock is up 16% this month. Really? He said he just needed some time to get these changes in place, and now they're starting to have traction. So I guess year two is when we're really going to know whether all of these changes make a difference or not.
This thought brought to you by a person who's never had a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got to say this, too.
I have had a cup of coffee. I do not enjoy coffee.
And I'm not a huge coffee person, but I don't even think their coffee's that great. I think their iced coffee's good.
Yeah, but then you have people like John Farmer who will only drink Starbucks coffee.
Is that right?
We have to buy it at the store. That's the flavor profile of coffee, the only one he actually enjoys.
A lot of people complain it tastes a little bit like it's burned.
Yeah, which you either like or you do not like. You're exactly right.
And John is straight black.
Yeah, darkest roast, straight black of what people think are burned strong coffee. That's what he loves.
All right, we're getting a lot of response on Bill Maher as we speak. Okay, thought three, just a couple of quick ones here. So there's only two kinds of people in this world, those who have the heated jacket and those who don't. I just joined the heated jacket club, and it really is unbelievable.
Okay, I've been dying to know about this. We're supposed to go skiing next month, and I'm like, ugh, is it worth it?
I think it is. It is. You just got to make sure you charge it. Because the other day I was trying to show it off to somebody, and I forgot to charge it. What's that?
Okay, so for somebody who's never heard of this, how do you describe it? It looks like a puffer jacket, just a regular puffer jacket, but it's got some kind of wiring.
Puffer jacket? We used to call that down.
Yeah.
That's puffer. Okay.
Well, because they're not generally made with down anymore.
We got this little case,
and it's wired, so the whole jacket heats up, right?
Yep. And you just take it off, and then you plug it in, and then you press a little button on the outside of the jacket, and you have degrees of warmth. Like if you get it up to red, I mean, it's almost like you can't stand it, but you just got to keep pressing it, and it turns on. And
yeah, and how long would you say, like, if you're going to be out there? I mean,
it stays. Yeah, I'd say at least 2 hours. I don't know exactly.
So it heats up immediately, and it stays on for a pretty long period of time. Yeah. I've been interested in the gloves and the socks too. Do you know anybody that's had those?
I know golfers that have had the gloves. I think Gary Frank has like the best collection of all this. He's got the gloves, he's got the vest, he's got everything. And boy, I don't ski, but if I were a skier, this would be it. So, finally, trends of things you don't see anymore, like landlines and maps and writing checks and iPods and DVDs and beepers and going to the mall. You know what you also don't see anymore is a teenage boy knocking on your door after it snows and trying to make a little cash by offering to shovel your driveway. Do we not have industrious teenage boys looking to make cash anymore? I think in the old days, people did that all the time. And now nobody ever knocks on our door.
No one knocks on your door anymore. I will say in our neighborhood, I don't know about people knocking on doors to offer to do it for cash, but we had several people posting in the neighborhood Facebook group that some kind person had just gone ahead and shoveled the whole block.
Well, that's great.
And somebody else said same thing in several of the alleys. I mean, John did that as well. But I loved seeing that people just kind of went the extra mile and said it's going to be harder for some folks than others. And so they came out getting ready to shovel, and their walk was already shoveled. That was a real gift that people gave each other in this snowstorm, and I love hearing that. A book recommendation. I just finished a book called Kindred. Can't stop thinking about it. Honestly, I don't know how I missed this book for so long. Have you guys heard of it? I'm not usually a big fantasy reader, but this one doesn't feel like fantasy for fantasy's sake. It's called, again, Kindred by Octavia Butler. It uses time travel as a tool, and it pulls you straight into the brutal reality of slavery in America. It follows a modern black woman who's repeatedly transported back to a Maryland plantation in the 1800s. So she's living her life in Maryland, and then she has to go back. And of course, you can imagine what it was like being at a Maryland plantation in the 1800s for somebody. It makes, I think the fact that it's so powerful is it blends speculative fiction with historical truth in a way that feels just really deeply human. It was very critically acclaimed. It was published back in 1979. A friend of mine who's a voracious reader and likes to go back and read stuff that isn't necessarily talked about these days, but is a really good book, had recommended it to me, and I'm so glad she did. Really, really good read. You can get it at your library for free.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, before we let you go, 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery. I know it's a little early for lunch, but I just want to give you a good chance to make your lunch plans now, because it will be something that you will be very glad you did. Delicious food on a cold day, always comforting. And it's not just the incredible main courses that they have, or the sandwiches, the brisket, the saucy rib sandwich, the hamburgers, the tacos, the pork belly wraps that are the star of the show. The sides are out of this world, delicious as well. And of course, the dessert, really, it's one of those places where you should give yourself the gift and eat dessert first, because they are out of this world. Like, you can't really even find some of these desserts at restaurants around St. Louis. They are so good. I highly recommend you swing by, pick it up to go today, or better yet, bring some friends, eat it for lunch. And then as you're thinking ahead, whether it's to Super Bowl parties or other gatherings you have, or whether it's time to start planning some of those work gatherings that you have, 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery does an excellent job at catering as well. Reach out to them today. You can check them out online at 3baybbqandbakery.com and sign up for their Frequent Eaters Club as well, or give them a call, 636-227-1208.
And now, KTRS weather.
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs back towards the 30-degree mark both today and Wednesday afternoon. Looking mostly sunny today, but overnight lows tonight and Wednesday night going to be back towards the single digits. Then into Saturday morning, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're tracking lows back towards the -2-degree mark as Arctic air filters back into play. We'll look to warm up into next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch for the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome to Pizza World, your hometown pizza. Located in Creve Coeur on Olive, just west of 270, and in Shrewsbury off Murdoch Avenue. Pizza World delivers the finest flavors of gourmet pizzas, chicken Alfredo, Texas barbecue, spicy Thai, and the Pizza World signature gourmet Appendanza. See the entire menu at pizzaworldonline.com. Perfect for office meetings, family get-togethers, or watch parties. Call Pizza World for the finest flavors of gourmet pizza, pastas, and salad. Pizza World.
Rediscover the timeless classic of The Wizard of Oz as your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs the iconic score live with the 1939 film on the big screen. Join Dorothy and her friends as she follows the yellow brick road to Oz and faces the Wicked Witch of the West. Don't miss this truly Technicolor event, January 30th through February 1st at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer. That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend, or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill Show for Success St. Louis Style, as they feature a St. Louis in making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club. Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischessclub.org.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
When the deals drop at Kohl's, you feel it. You see up to 50% off end-of-season must-haves, plus up to 85% off clearance favorites. And suddenly, your whole world narrows to one thought. Must shop now. Your to-do list gone. Your dinner plans forgotten. It's just you and your cart gliding through the store. Yeah, Kohl's deals will do that to a person. Save in-store and online now. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
And welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. On Tuesdays, we talk with Dr. Rick, so get those questions in quickly, 84126 and the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. Dr. Rick, good to be with you. How are you, sir?
I'm excellent. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Right off the bat, afternoon naps are good for your brain. Here's how, 4 ways to get the most out of it. Explain, please.
Well, I think, first of all, everybody has sort of a different opinion of napping, and I think napping is probably very good for you to do. It boosts your energy, boosts your creativity, et cetera, et cetera. So the big thing is when you're going to nap, you feel refreshed, you feel better, et cetera. So the first thing is, you don't want to take caffeine, you don't want to get stimulated. You want to take the nap when you're tired, when you want to try to refresh. It's going to definitely help limit your blood pressure. And the best things you can do are take a short 20-minute nap, kind of improve your cognition, and you don't really want to sleep all mid-afternoon, right? So you want to get the nap 15, 20 minutes and then kind of get up and get going. And I think, again, if you're a little tired, et cetera, rather than taking an energy drink, if you can just close your eyes for 5 or 10 minutes, that's going to be the best thing you could possibly do.
I like that prescription for a nap. I need to practice it and get better at it, though. 4 common foods may be wrecking our gut health. Tell us more.
Well, this just makes sense, right? Sugar just makes sense, right? The white bread at a supermarket store. The thing that I found kind of interesting was vegan cheese. Now, I don't eat I got to be honest, I don't know if I've ever had vegan cheese, so I don't really know that's a fan favorite. But for people out there that are trying to eat vegan, and they want to eat cheese, this stuff is terrible for your GI tract. Your gut biome kills all the bacteria in your gut. Terrible for you in fried foods. So most of these things just make sense. I think the biggest thing that we do is we go to the grocery store, we get bread, and we think that eating bread is okay. And white bread isn't okay, and probably not too many breads are okay. So unless you're eating something that's very, very grainy, has multi-grains, has lots of protein and lots of fiber, bread in general is not great. And the later in the day, the less you should eat, processed bread. So that, I don't want to hit any specific type, but bunny bread's probably should be first on your hit list.
Yeah, I wonder if, like bread, I think everybody knows that white bread is not good for you. I wonder if that's going in the trend of cigarettes a long time ago, where everybody knows now it's just a bad idea, and more and more people are staying away from it.
Well, I think people do understand it, and I think people understand fried foods aren't good for you. White bread was sort of a staple in the 50s and 60s, right? Your bologna sandwich, so you got your bacon, your bologna sandwich, your BLT, whatever. All this stuff's terrible for you. And then you ate it with some mayonnaise on with the show. Delicious, it was great. But in terms of health nutrition, the processing of these foods is terrible. And then the nutrition value in the bread is zero. So that's really the problem.
All right. Colon cancer, new leading cause of cancer death in young people. Elaborate.
Well, this is something everybody needs to listen. So everybody out there who's 35, 40 years old, 30 years old needs to hear this, because number one killer in males and females right now, colon cancer used to be fifth, now it's one. But that's not the issue. The issue is young people. So yeah, if you're 60, 70, 80, you get colon cancer, you get screened, et cetera. We know about that. But people don't really realize you need to start getting screened at 30, not at 60. So colon cancer is on the rise, but the rise is in people somewhere between 35 and 45 and 50, which is a rare age for most cancers. So for people out there, blood in your stool, cramping, a change, and all of a sudden you're constipated, or you just say to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and get a colonoscopy, which doesn't sound too exciting for anybody. I think that's not a bad idea, 30, 35 years old, especially if you have a family history of polyps, colon cancer, or any type of cancer. You got to start thinking about these diseases way, way younger.
Friend texting in saying the snow wasn't even that heavy, but I've had really bad back spasms since shoveling on Sunday. Recommendations?
Yeah, that this is a fan favorite, right? Everybody, first snow or second snow, everybody's out there shoveling. That was a bad one. So I think the first thing, get some heat. Get some anti-inflammatories, maybe a little bit of ibuprofen, take 2 or 3 of them, and then gentle stretching. The key in this whole thing is not laying in bed. Start doing some very gentle stretching, and then heat, and then ice, sort of we call differential, going back and forth. And if you're not better after a little bit, I'd go see your doctor and start some physical therapy. But I'd probably give it 3-4 days, because that's probably going to resolve.
So what about the little-known supplement that can help protect you against getting really sick? A study out of the New York Post.
Yeah, this is kind of important. Methionine. I think doctors knew about it for years, and so basically you have whatever, an infection, a surgery, a traumatic accident, you break your ankle, whatever, or you just get sick. You're just really, really sick, bad flu. And what happens is your body responds with this inflammatory response, and this inflammatory response is what's going to kill you. So you go from being sick, or your infection's maybe getting better, kind of on the run, and then all of a sudden you crash and burn and you die, or you get really, really sick and into the hospital. So methionine can be taken as a supplement. You see it a lot in fish, you see it a lot in beef. But I think that if you're really somebody who's prone to infections, real bad flu, or you've had a trauma, bad car accident, etc., it's not the worst idea to tell your family member, look, let's get a supplement, let's get a little methionine, let's start taking it. And it really does reverse this whole process of inflammation, going down that rabbit hole, going down that path. So for those people, that's something you kind of want to keep on your back burner. And if you notice, hey, I'm just getting sicker and sicker, that's really worth giving it a go.
Can you say the name of that supplement for our listeners one more time?
Yes, it's methionine, and I would Google it or Claude it or Gemini 3 it or something, and really read about it. It'll take you all of a minute, but it's something that everybody should be aware of.
Okay. From the 314, we're getting some questions in on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. Do you know anything about micro-dosing naltrexone for inflammation and chronic pain due to conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia?
So naltrexone is a very interesting drug, and naltrexone has recently, we've actually discussed a little bit, talking about trying to decrease your need for alcohol, for people that think they're drinking too much. If you microdose naltrexone for inflammation, it will work. Now, naltrexone normally is a drug that's used in place of an opioid. So a microdosing of naltrexone for inflammatory problems is a very, very good idea. And microdosing of naltrexone for general pain, overuse, etc., is actually a pretty good idea. You have to be careful. If you take too much of it, you're going to get sick. It's going to make you sick to your stomach, and you're going to sweat, blah, blah, blah. But microdosing is not a bad thing to do.
Where are you on the red meat debate? Is there a certain amount you can have a week, or you should avoid it at all times? What's your take?
Well, first of all, I think that this pendulum in the medical world just changes every, 3 years. So, it was the worst thing in the world for you. And then Beyond Meats came and everyone realized that's just a bunch of processed garbage. That's no good for you. And the real truth of the matter is, if you want to eat red meat a couple times a week, that's probably the best thing you could possibly do. Complete proteins, especially if you're eating good meats that are not real fatty, et cetera. So I am a red meat fan once or twice a week, just like you should eat your chicken once or twice a week, a little bit of fish, et cetera, vary your diet. I think if you're going to eat 3 meals a day of McDonald's hamburgers, no, that's not cool, and you probably shouldn't be doing that. But I think healthy red meats are healthy red meats, and people should eat them, unless they have they're vegan, they're vegetarian, a religious thing, whatever. But I think for most people, a little bit of red meat goes a long way. It's probably good, very good for you.
I love this. A prescription for daily naps and twice a week red meat, I think.
Yeah,
Write it down,
stuff.
people. We've got some more questions if we have some time to get these in with you as well. From the 618, bursitis keeps coming back. Have done PT and shots. Any other suggestions?
Well, it depends on where it is. So if it's in your elbow or it's in your hip, that's a surgical thing. If it doesn't get better and it's truly bursitis, you got to make sure that you've had and that's truly bursitis, and that's what you're treating. And then generally, if it doesn't get better, it's a surgical resolution. And almost all bursitis can be resolved after failed conservative care with surgery. So again, I would press the envelope, make sure you have an MRI. But if that's really what's going on, go the next distance and get it fixed.
Okay, from the 314, if you're anemic, what can you take? Just iron pills, or should you do the time released?
I think you have to do the time release. And again, it just gets back to your diet maybe a little bit. So you may want to increase your red meat. Just eating, ferrous iron is probably not going to get it. You also want to bump up your exercise a little bit. So those are the three things. But if you're going to eat, if you're anemic and you're going to eat yogurt all day or you're going to eat tofu all day, it's a rough ride. So you probably want to try to increase, not chicken, not fish, but your red meat prescription a little bit.
So what do you recommend for 35 to, say, 75, what they should be taking at night in terms of a supplement or a vitamin? Maybe what you do, what do you recommend?
So every night I take magnesium sulfate or magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams, and I think that's huge. And I take this little lavender thing, and I don't know, maybe it's placebo, but it just really is very calming. So, and I never have any trouble sleeping, and it's just it's a good supplement. So I think at night everybody should be taking a little bit of magnesium, and I think you should, whatever chamomile, some kind of something that's calming, and I think that really enhances your sleep. And then your supplements during the day, we've talked about it before. You need your multivitamin, you need some vitamin D3, and I'm a berberine fan, but I just think, you need a system, and that system needs to be consistent.
Okay, I take my magnesium every night and vitamin D, so I'm doing well. A couple more before we let you go. Any suggestions other than meds for GERD?
GERD is a tough thing. So, what we're talking about is the inability to process almost a metabolic disease thing, insulin thing in your GI tract. And I think I'm not a big meds fan for GERD. I mean, I'm a big probiotic fan for GERD. So I think, you need to probably find 2 or 3 foods that are very, very probiotic. And, those can be different kinds of yogurts, et cetera. I'm not a medicine fan for GERD. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing, I hate to keep going back to this, is exercise. So people that have significant GERD really need to get into an interval training program. And it doesn't have to be crazy, interval walking, whatever. They talk about this Tai Chi walking, which is kind of crazy. But these things really help your GI tract. But I think the big thing is these probiotics, and I think you got to be consistent.
Good stuff, Dr. Rick. We greatly appreciate your time. We will talk next week. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right, that's Dr. Rick Lehman joining us on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Okay, so many of you have asked us to spell it. I'm going to spell for you the supplement that he said to take. It's methionine, METHIONINE. That is what he is recommending. It can be found in protein-rich staples like eggs, poultry, fish, and beef, as he said, but you can also find a supplement to take it as well. Somebody that is a good supplement in our life is our friend Jeff Zufall, Capital Advisory Group, expert on all things to do with finance, all things to do with making your money work for you, all things to do with how to use the stock market and investments to have the retirement you want. But his real magic, of course, comes in being such a whiz kid or a genius when it comes to tax strategy. He's a senior tax strategist at Capital Advisory Group. All of his team are extremely good at tax strategy because they know that so many people accidentally overpay on taxes, which means they don't have the money they could have to be able to invest and make their money grow for them and build wealth, which is what we are all trying to do before we stop working and retire. And even if you're in retirement, working with Jeff is really helpful because you're still paying taxes and you still be missing out on changes in tax laws that could benefit you, particularly if you or anybody you know is a small business owner. Jeff really specializes and has helped so many small business owners increase their profitability and become more successful for themselves and their employees. He really loves doing that. So set your appointment up today. Just go to capitaladvisorygrp.com, 636-394-5524.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Way back in time, if you had a leak in the roof of your hut, I imagine you had to find a tree close by, scale it, and then jump and hope you could get up there and see what was wrong. Then came the advent of the ladder. There was an easier way to get up there and see if something was wrong. And with modern technology, we finally get around to the drone. Now, the folks at Allen Roofing use those instead of trees and ladders. Send a drone up, find out if there's anything wrong with your roof, get some pictures, go over it with you, and see if there's a problem, how bad it is, what they could do, what it'll cost. Or if everything's just fine, they will tell you that too. Boy, it's so nice we don't have to climb trees to look at our hut. Allen Roofing embracing technology and doing quality roof repair, siding, gutters, everything for the outside of your home. Just ask Gronk. He was one of the first customers. It's Allen Roofing. Find him online at aroofing.net.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Oftentimes we talk about make sure you support local. And, of course, you want to support local. And when you support local and you need windows and doors, you call Larry Thornton and Joe Thornton from the Window Store, 314-739-0002. Why? Well, because they support local and you support local, right? And you're supporting your neighbor to make sure the job is done right. They go the extra mile. In fact, somebody called up Larry Thornton the other day looking for new windows. Larry went out to the house and said, "You don't need new windows. These windows are fine. Thank you very much. Call me back some other time." The other reason why you support Larry Thornton at the Window Store, 314-739-0002, is because local companies support charities. And the Window Store is a proud sponsor of the KTRS Radiothon to support Backstoppers. So a local company that'll do it right with great windows and great doors, and they give back to the community and big supporters of Backstoppers. You need windows, you need Window Store, wswindow.net.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online, see their entire inventory online at bommarito.com.
All right, welcome back. Frank and Jill show on the Big 550 KTRS. 3 boys just knocked on my door in Wildwood. That's good to hear. Frank, no one knocks on doors anymore. They posted on social media. All right, I could buy that too. Wear a heated vest under the ski jacket. You will soon be happy. We use the gloves also. I used to love Bill Maher. Now he's just a grumpy old man. He's always been misogynistic and homophobic.
I like this from the 314. I like Bill Maher because he talks to everybody. From the 618, what happened to being able to agree with something on each side? Isn't that called being a centrist? Well, both parties have done a really good job of vilifying anybody who dares to be in the middle, haven't they? Which suddenly there's shame in that.
I'm not a fan of Bill Maher's general political views, but I totally respect the fact that he calls out people on both sides of the political aisle.
From the 314, Bill Maher's done a good job pointing out the lunacy of extreme views that are so common nowadays. Respect him, even though I don't always agree. And then this may be the text of the day, Frank, from the 314. Have there ever been 2 more vacuous people on the radio? Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. We're going to send a hug out to your way.
To that person, I really recommend them going to FM or going to another station and don't listen. I've never understood these people who, text in. I think that person texts in a lot. If you don't like it, please. It's like I always tell this story, Joe, is when I worked in Lexington, Kentucky, and Kentucky would win a game by 8 points instead of 28 points. And they'd call in to complain to Rick Pitino on his call-in show. And he said, sir, please turn off the radio. Go listen to Frank Sinatra. Find happiness in your life. So to this person, please find another station. McGraw-Millhaven actually did something earlier like that today, and I loved it when he said it. So.
I feel like I just want to give you a hug. I'm sorry, but vacuous is a good word. I'm going to give you. I definitely give you some good credit.
Don't give that person a compliment. He just insulted you.
I know, but I do. I like
it. Have some passion.
I like a good vocabulary word, so I am going to give him credit for that. From the 816. Well said, Jill and Frank. I'm not a fan of Bill Maher's general politics, but I respect the fact he calls out people on both sides, and his episodes with Woody Harrelson and Chevy Chase, hilarious and very entertaining. He knows how to bring a smile to people's faces.
Did you see with Billy Joel, by the way?
No, was that good?
Oh my gosh, his knowledge of music is unbelievable. He was pointing out things to Billy Joel that impressed Billy Joel. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, that's I'll get behind on him, and then we try to catch up in this season, and for sure. And from the 314, love your show. Don't change anything. Thanks for taking the time to write the compliment as well. Stick around. Lots happening in the news. We'll be right back.
For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
So you need a new car or SUV, but you're upside down in your trade, but you're worried about your down payment, but your credit is less than perfect. Bring your butts to HW Kia of West County today. Because if you're a first-time buyer or you were turned down last year for your loan, HW Kia wants to finance your future, not your past. Have a job clearing $450 per week? You're practically approved. Come see Big D the trade man with any trade and get up to a $5,000 discount off any select new Kia in stock. Take home a new 25 Kia K4LX for just $19,995 with any trade, or 0 down and 0 interest on every clearly marked new Kia, even Telluride and Sorrento all-wheel drive SUVs. You'll save a buttload of money, so get your butts to HWKia.com.
All approved credit, not all will qualify. Plus tax, title, license, and $587 title and registration processing fee. 22 or newer trade. Negative equity refinanced to new loan. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Not all will qualify through KMF. 2083 per thousand borrowed. Offers not in combination. Expires 2/4/26.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot.
ICE's acting director is being hauled in before Minnesota's chief federal judge to explain why the Trump administration has ignored court orders to hold hearings for detained immigrants. The judge wants Todd Lyons to explain why he shouldn't be held in contempt. President Trump is pulling back Commander Greg Bovino and is sending border czar Tom Homan into Minnesota after the ICE killings of 2 Minneapolis protesters. More on the fallout from ABC's Rachel Scott.
At least 30 Republicans are now demanding a full and complete and thorough investigation. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says that it's time for the White House to recalibrate their approach here. We're also hearing from Republican Congressman Mike Lawler this morning saying Americans do not want chaos.
The glaze of ice coating the South and Mid-Atlantic has taken a serious toll. At least 35 people have died across the storm's treacherous path. ABC meteorologist Ginger Z.
The situation is very dire.
In Oxford, Mississippi, the freezing rain created so much ice, utility crews were pulled back and a shelter in place was ordered over fears of falling trees.
Oh no, oh no, oh no!
Tennessee also activating the National Guard and opening warming centers. Trees taking out power lines, some igniting.
The USS Abraham Lincoln is in the Mideast now as the estimated death toll of Iranian protesters hits 6,000, possibly higher. ABC's Ian Pennell.
The situation is very dire. The Iranian authorities continue to issue blood-curdling threats if there is any kind of U.S. military action, that their response will be significant. And you see those concerns reflected around the region.
A 19-year-old is suing tech companies Meta, YouTube, and TikTok, claiming she became addicted to social media at a young age. She compares them to tobacco companies in the way they hook users and keep them hooked. You're listening to ABC News.
KTRS News, I'm Steve Potter. Workers with the nonprofit Missouri Workers Center will be holding a protest this evening in St. Louis to call attention to the ICU nurse who was shot and killed by ICE agents in Minnesota. The rally is scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. at Market Street in North Tucker in downtown St. Louis. Search efforts continue today for a man who fell through ice yesterday afternoon in Illinois. Officials say a 20-year-old man fell in a frozen pond in New Baden, which is east of Scott Air Force Base, while trying to rescue his dog. Dozens of first responders were called to the scene, but the search was suspended after several hours due to worsening weather conditions. Healthcare workers have reported a spike in weather-related cases since the unusually cold temperatures and snow hit the St. Louis region. Cases include everything from car crashes, falls, sledding injuries, and heart-related issues caused by shoveling snow in the freezing weather. Dr. Matthew Schwab of Mercy South Hospital told First Alert 4, when outside, people need to be aware of warning signs.
And be aware of the symptoms and signs of kind of maybe some strain on your heart, whether it's chest pain, increased trouble breathing, sweatiness, nausea, that sort of stuff.
Meanwhile, fire safety officials are urging residents to use extra caution when heating their homes. Frigid temperatures often lead people to rely more heavily on alternative heat sources, which can increase the risk of home fires and carbon monoxide poisoning if proper safety precautions are not followed. Governor J.B. Pritzker announced today a $50 million grant opportunity available through the Rebuild Illinois Capital Program. The funding will support the Community Health Center construction grants for federally qualified health centers. The grant opportunity expands access to healthcare services by facilitating the construction or renovation of community-based healthcare facilities, especially for centers located in underserved or rural areas. And a bill making its way through the Missouri legislature could make significant changes to the state's vehicle inspection program.
Proposed Missouri House Bill 2743 would only require inspections for vehicles made before 2013 or those with more than 150,000 miles. Currently, Missouri mandates that vehicles older than 10 years or with more than 150,000 miles undergo a safety inspection every 2 years, which costs $12. Supporters of the bill say rural residents struggle to find a licensed inspector nearby. Opponents counter that reducing inspection requirements could lead to higher rates of fatal accidents. The Midwest Auto Care Alliance, representing more than 530 service owners, says that states with vehicle inspection programs consistently show lower fatality rates. Currently, 14 states do not require any vehicle inspection at all of non-commercial vehicles. The Missouri House Government Efficiency Committee passed the bill and now goes to the full House. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity have awarded more than $17 million in funding to 39 program recipients to expand the Illinois Works apprenticeship program. The market's now brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk on Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is down 337 points at 49,074. NASDAQ up 237 at 23,839. And the S&P 500 up 34 at 6,984. In sports, Mizzou basketball takes on number 23 Alabama tonight in Tuscaloosa. The tip time is moved for this game up to 7 p.m., and coverage will start at 6:30 this evening right here on the Big 550. And former Mizzou running back Cody Schrader was among 6 players to sign future contracts with the Denver Broncos. We're looking for sunny skies today, an afternoon high near 30, mostly clear tonight, an overnight low of 2 degrees. Sunny tomorrow, a high around 30, then temperatures fall, 20 degrees, the high on Thursday, and highs in the teens on Friday and Saturday. Right now at 11:06, we have sunshine, 27 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Hey, it's Heidi, and if the new year means a new look for your home, look no further than Dalco Home Remodeling. Let me just tell you, customers could not be happier. If you're looking for new windows, Dalco Home Remodeling has you covered. If you're looking for a new door, they can custom make you a front door. They can do French doors, they can do sliding doors, and they can stain it or paint it to whatever you have going on or whatever new color you want to add. Let me just tell you about some of the happy clients. You've got Alex, who said, I had Dalco replace several windows and doors on one of my properties, did a top quality job for me, would definitely recommend. And he's just one of many. You know, Dalco Home Remodeling has been around for more than 50 years. They are family owned and family operated. So if you're ready to get your dream project underway, go to DalcoHomeRemodeling.com. You can also give them a call at 314-298-7300.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
All right, welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. On Tuesdays, we talk with Joe Holloman from the Post-Dispatch. Joe, good to be with you. How are you today, sir?
Good, Frank. Yourself? How are you guys?
We're doing well. So the U.S. House budget vote sticks to political lines for the most part, correct? Especially here.
Yeah. There was a variety of budget bills going through, Republicans trying to avoid shutdowns. And the one that drew the most attention last week had to do with the one that included the funding for the Department of Homeland Security. And in light of the recent ICE actions in Minnesota and the controversy surrounding that, it was a split vote to which all of the St. Louis area U.S. congressmen and congresswomen voted along their party lines. So we had the Democrats, Wesley Bell and Nikki Budzinski in the Metro East opposed to the budget bill that included money for ICE, and then all of the other Republican ones, Wagner, Bob Onder, et al. Around the St. Louis area voted in favor of the administration, if you will. So no surprise there. It stuck to party lines. Nobody jumped. Just thought it was just thought it was a good idea to put it on the record as to where people in this area voted.
Speaking of Ann Wagner, sex trafficking bill signed into law that she was behind. Tell us more.
Yeah, interesting in the sense that something that seems to be one of those common sense rules, a compassionate common sense rule, that people who were forced into drug trafficking in the situation, and obviously we're talking on the lower end, who were forced to do crimes, and a lot of these had to do with mail fraud, theft, and prostitution. People on the low end of that organized crime facet forced to commit crimes because of their addiction and what the traffickers were forcing them to do, that if they can prove that it didn't involve a child and that it was part of coercion and it wasn't their choice to rob a bank while they were involved, they can get their record changed so that when they go look for a job, looking for schooling, any kind of aid, they don't have that on their record if they can prove it. And the thing is this is like her fourth or fifth attempt where it's went through the House and just kind of stalled somewhere along the way. But this time it was actually signed by President Trump. And so now it's the law of the land. A person involved in sex trafficking whose criminal record would show that they committed crimes, but if they were forced to do so because of their situation, they can get that record expunged. So made it through pretty much with wide support on both sides.
Yeah, I'm thinking who would be opposing this, or what's the thinking behind the people that would be opposing it?
Yeah, well, and I think the thing is there is no thinking, and I don't mean that was a flippant remark, but I think with a lot of these bills, there's so much stuff that just gets dumped into the legislature that things they don't go anywhere, or it didn't seem like that big a deal. And it's so very rare, unless it's something to, honor mothers, that goes through a Congress without somebody holding it up, either looking for a deal, or it just doesn't get scheduled right, or other issues come up that they just don't get passed. And you read the bills, and Ms. Wagner's is not the first one where it's like, well, this just makes sense. So you wonder where it got lost in the remarks, especially if it comes up and it gets, if not unanimous, at least pretty much universal acceptance. You wonder what the heck happened to it. And the only thing I can think of is that the wheels of government grind slowly. And it's interesting that I was listening to an old speech from Justice Scalia that I happened to run across, who talked about that the genius of American government is that things don't move quickly. Now, I don't know if I would go that far in this bill, but maybe sometimes it's a case of, well, let's not rush anything into passage, and then we don't have to redo it. So let's hope that it was just being very circumspect. My guess is it wasn't anything that was hitting people up. Certainly with cases like in the last year or two, the Epstein case has brought attention to this issue. And so it also could have been a point where people wanted to look like, hey, I'm against sex trafficking, whatever the criticism was vis-a-vis Epstein, that let's just go ahead and do this. But you're right, Frank. I mean, it just makes sense. And why it didn't happen in the past, I don't know. But credit where credit's due. Ann Wagner kept proposing the bill for 5 sessions, and now it's finally law.
Wow. What about Wesley Bell? You were reporting this week that he is working to try to lower our energy costs. That sounds good about right now with all of us trying to heat our homes.
Yeah, it's always those bills all sound great, and no matter what. But yes, this is a case of it, and let's keep in mind that Mr. Bell is being challenged by Cori Bush again coming up this year. So there's a primary in August that people are sort of looking forward to as a quote unquote, the rematch, like Bell Bush 2, the sequel. So yeah, what it would do is what it aims to do is take some rebates right now that you can't use both at the same time to lower your heating cost, your utility cost. Would combine those so that you could. It's sort of like you can't use more than one coupon on your visit to the hamburger stand. This would let you use more than one coupon. to get some of your utility costs down. So
hamburger stand. I haven't heard that term in a while. I'd like to go to one of those today.
And I couldn't think of what to think, so I went to my old man brain, and it just came out as hamburger stand. I was going to say Steak and Shake. I used to be a curb boy at Steak and Shake.
That's awesome.
And now there's nobody around who remembers curb boys. So, that's how old I am. But, again, it sounds like a great idea, and we'll see where it goes. On the other side of that, Ms. Bush has announced that she was endorsed by the National Nurses Alliance, a group that was staunchly with her the first time around, so no big surprise there. But obviously now that we're clear of the holidays, people are looking to set up their chess pieces for the run in August between Wesley Bell and Cori Bush.
So, Joe, I don't know how much driving around you've done, but how does the mayor grade out in terms of after the snow and the way the city has responded?
I think your last word is the key there. Responded. And I think if nothing else, the thing is I'm sure, and I've done only minimal driving, did a lot of shoveling, man. Speaking of finding out where all your old man stuff is, shoveling 10 inches of snow, found out where all those muscles have been decaying. But I saw a plow come up my street for the first time ever since I've lived in the city on a side street. So, it was like, hey, I almost, if I wouldn't have had big mittens on, I would have taken a photo of it. But the idea is that it seems to me that the city responded. And I think the problem was in the big snowstorm that came under the previous administration, if you remember, and I wrote about it, as did other reporters in our paper, but I wrote a column criticizing it, is we had a street director who didn't even go out on the streets. If you remember that, it was like, well, my underlings told me the streets weren't too bad. It was like you weren't out of the house for 10 days and you were the street department director. If nothing else, this administration seems like they're responding. Will people have imperfect reports on what they did? I'm sure. Did they miss streets? I'm sure they did. Are there sections that could have been done better? Yes. But it did seem to me as a city resident like the city was trying. And I think that, that goes a long way. And anybody who's ever had a kid, if your kid's trying, that's all you can ask, and there's going to be screw ups and there's going to be complaints about it. And I'm sure people who weren't fans of Mayor Spencer will find a way to continue to not be fans of Mayor Spencer and say this was done wrong or that was done wrong. But what I sensed was an administration and a street department who knew what the situation was willing to change things up with the trying to plow side streets, and for the lack of a better word, just put their nose to the grindstone and said, let's do a better job. And I think that's where it's at. What it grades out to be, I don't know. Everybody will have their own experience. What I know is it seemed like the city was trying to make the roads better.
Yeah, well said, Joe. I think it's and just clear expectations this time. I think compared to what I remember hearing last year, it was, hey, by the end of Tuesday, we should have the roads cleared enough that things like school buses can run and residents can be able to get off their streets, as opposed to what we heard last year was like, well, we're doing our best, we're plowing, we just can't plow the side streets, and I don't know what to tell you. You haven't been able to get out to your job for 10 days. Well, that stinks. And so it just seems like at least there's some clear communication, clear expectations. To your point, we have to, then we'll be the judge of whether those expectations were met.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you can't underestimate the idea of how bad it was last time when your street department director had not been out on the streets. Mm-hmm. That was just such an awful visual of you sitting at home while your underlings were calling in, telling you what it was like. And I remember writing in a column, I couldn't care less if the street department director knew how to plow a single pound of snow. I want them out there in parkas, standing by a hand warmer, watching their people who know what to do out there actually doing it. So I think that presence this time, that there was a response and, that sort of, by God, we're going to do the best we can. I think that's at least half of what people want from their government is a feeling that they're trying.
Good stuff, Joe. We appreciate your time. We will talk next week. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
All right, Joe Holloman joining us. Along those lines is young Dom has a big case this week. And right now he's waiting to see if we can get enough people to show up for jury selection. Not confident in that.
Mm-hmm.
All of the St. Louis public schools are closed, of course. And so who is leaving the kids at home to go do jury duty? No one will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the elderly, I mean, who's going to risk their health to come in to do jury duty? And right now, I think the side streets, or many of them downtown, I shouldn't say all of them, are kind of in rough shape. So he's wondering if he's going to have enough people for his jury.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. The school thing is always tricky. One job I never would want to have are the superintendents of schools that have to go out there, because you talk about you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. There's a percentage of people that are so angry at you when you have school, and it's still, they feel like it's not perfectly safe for the buses to be on every road, and then other people are mad whenever you call it off because it is very disruptive to people's lives. So
yeah, and the kids waiting for the buses in these temperatures.
Well, that's the 1-2 punch, and a lot more schools did have school today with late starts and things like that. We'll see how that worked out. But the bigger school districts, when you're thinking about thousands of kids waiting in below zero wind chills, you gotta err on the side of safety, I think, on that. Medicare Man, our friend Ryan Raphael, he is just so calm and wise. Those are 2 words I use to describe him, because a lot of people come in to meet with him and they're a little agitated. They've heard so much information, or in many cases, he told us, many of the people that he works with got the flyer in the mail, said, okay, yeah, we're just going to go with this company. I think they're promising that they can do X, Y, and Z. And then when push comes to shove and they're actually trying to stay with the same provider, or having the lived experience of having this be their Medicare coverage, it just is not working out the way they thought it would. And he says it's unfortunate, but there is some bait and switch out there when it comes to Medicare plans, which is why you need somebody who does not have an agenda and does not want you to only be with XYZ plan, but wants to listen to you and match you with a plan that meets all of your needs. And he can do it in a way that just makes you, just lets you know immediately he's been doing this a long time. He has mastery of the subject, and he's going to take care of you. That's what we hear time and time again from so many of our listeners who love Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man. Reach out to him today. Set up that appointment, 314-368-6808, MedicareManSTL.com. For the right plan, call the Medicare Man.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants, the cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at SimplySecureDentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care, or SimplySecureDentures.com.
This is Mariah, 3rd generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
Oftentimes we talk about make sure you support local, and of course you want to support local, and when you support local and you need windows and doors, you call Larry Thornton and Joe Thornton from the Window Store, 314-739-0002. Why? Well, because they support local and you support local, right? And you're supporting your neighbor to make sure the job is done right. They go the extra mile. In fact, somebody called up Larry Thornton the other day looking for new windows. Larry went out to the house and said, "You don't need new windows. These windows are fine. Thank you very much. Call me back some other time." The other reason why you support Larry Thornton at the Window Store, 314-739-0002 is because local companies support charities. And the Window Store is a proud sponsor of the KTRS Radiothon to support Backstoppers. So a local company that'll do it right with great windows and great doors, and they give back to the community and big supporters of Backstoppers. You need windows, you need Window Store, wswindow.net.
The Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
The Big 550, KTRS, has supported the Backstoppers for the past 5 years, and they are stepping up again this year. In that spirit, and to raise money for this great cause, KTRS will again host the 6th annual Backstoppers Radiothon, January 29th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles is proud to co-sponsor 1 hour of this event. Backstoppers provides approximately $2.5 million each year to support these heroes. Please join Gingham's Restaurant and KTRS to support this great organization.
Want a song?
On my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. It's 11:26 already on a Tuesday. Happy second snow day for those who are celebrating, although I think fewer folks had the excuse today. Lots of you out and about, back to work, back to life, percentage of people back to school as well.
This will tick you off. A good friend of mine who's watching us right now on YouTube in Arizona, he works with the Phoenix Suns, Connor's team, by the way. It's 60 degrees with a high today of 72 in Phoenix. Sunny blue skies. Never gets old. Keith Robinson, my old intern who's hit it big.
Well, we are very glad you're with us, Keith, and glad you're enjoying your day. But
but those summers are tough, though.
True.
Out in Phoenix. 115. I don't know.
We're in a text, and the other guy in the text, in fact, well, I won't say his name because he's an advertiser. He just gave the middle index finger to Keith.
Yeah, by the way, did your mom make it out of town? She was trying to get to some place warm yesterday.
They had some delays going on, but then they managed to get out.
Yeah, I had a few people. I knew a few people who were trying to travel yesterday, and it wasn't a perfectly ideal travel day, but I think they did a pretty darn good job at Lambert of giving everybody out. We were talking earlier about shoveling, and you hadn't had anybody knock on your door, and lots of people texted and said, "Frank, nobody knocks on doors anymore. That doesn't
and then
feel
some
safe."
texted that I just got to knock on my door.
Yeah. So, but more people are reminding us that's not the case. But they did say kids are still offering to do it. They're just doing it via Nextdoor, or they're texting neighbors or letting people know if you want us to come, do it that way. So it's not that kids aren't out there trying to earn a little extra buck necessarily.
Maybe they thought surely this guy doesn't need help shoveling the driveway.
Who, me?
Yeah, you've got it handled. We'll go on to the next house with the little old lady.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that one.
Yeah.
I told you that's how I used to make some cash, man. I mean, we'd make $20 a driveway. We thought we were the richest people ever.
But you were, because you lived in a fancy neighborhood in Frontenac where people gave you $20 for a half hour's worth of work out there. So you lucked out.
We'd split it, so it was 10 a driveway.
Still.
It felt like $1 million, though.
That was $1 million back then. I mean, I would have had to babysit for 10 hours to earn $10.
$1 an hour? That was the going rate?
$1 an hour was the going rate in the 70s. Some of the fancy people who belonged to the country club in town would up it a little bit more than that. By the time I was in college, some of the families were paying $2 an hour, and I was like,
inflation for you.
yeah, it was pretty great. We thought we'd go back in the time machine today, since it is still darn cold out there. A song to maybe help warm you up a little bit, sung by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. I love that. I've got my Love to Keep Me Warm. And that version, Billie Holiday, of course, sung the original, but that one was, again, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong. That voice, huh? Both of their voices.
I don't think we've heard their names on KTRS radio in a long time, but it's cool to hear both of them, though. Ella Fitzgerald, I think she died in the 90s. Yeah, 96. Let's see. Yeah, boy, what a career. What a voice, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good versions out there. Frank Sinatra's got a good one as well, but this one, for some reason, those two voices together, I really, really liked it. Quote of the day, funny story I ran across with Harrison Ford on his first job in Hollywood. And the thing that I liked about it was it's just that reminder. So many of the most successful people you talk to, some of them talk about being incredibly lucky from the get-go, but a lot of them have stories like this one that Harrison Ford tells. But you hear these stories about somebody who was told you're never going to make it. I have one of the physicians I'm privileged to work with, who's literally at Harvard, MD, PhD, top in the United States, and invented some really great things in the field of dermatology. And she had a high school counselor that said, you're just really not college material, let alone, going to UCLA and then Harvard and the things that she did. And luckily, she said, I just didn't believe it. There was something inside. Because I said, a lot of people would take that information and be like, okay, I'm going to go do something else with it. And she said, when I heard it, I was like, I just don't think that's meant for me. I didn't believe that. And it sounds like Harrison Ford just didn't believe that particular movie industry exec as well.
Yeah. Boy, it's cool when you hear a success story like that. But probably there's thousands that hear it and it comes true that you're not going to make it. But how about this guy still, 83 years old? He talk about the fountain of youth, still looks great, acts great.
Shrinking, new season. I think it's coming out tomorrow, I believe. I'm trying to keep track. Lynn is always doing a great job of telling us when stuff is coming our way. And so I believe she said that we need to tune in tomorrow. It's coming in. Are you all caught up on it, on Shrinking?
Yeah, I think I finished it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a little salty, right? There's some raunchiness to it for sure. It's not rated G, but in general, I think it's just it's just darn clever. The characters kind of work their way into your heart. I really, really enjoy it for sure. Our friends over at, of course, the Gatesworth Properties, which is Gatesworth, McKnight Place, and Park Provence, do a really good job at the conversation of assessment, because sometimes it's not a cut and dry situation. Maybe somebody in your life has some memory care issues, and maybe it's they're on their own, maybe they're in partnership, or they have a spouse as well, and it can get complicated to know how to make that decision. But if somebody you know is down a little bit further down the path of needing a memory care, and you really need residential community for your loved one, there's a lot of options out there, and of course, memory care. A lot of different places say yes, we have memory care as well. But the level of memory care really, really makes a difference. You want things like on-site physical, occupational, art, music therapy, plus round-the-clock medical care to keep your loved one completely safe and cared for at all times of the day. You want to have experienced administrators like Kathy Kelly at Park Provence, who's been there for 30 years of nursing experience in a career where there has been high turnover, or Park Provence's medical director, David B. Carr, professor at Washington University and considered a leading expert. And you want people to be able to do things that they enjoyed doing at home, the opportunity to do whatever that is, cooking, music, other things that made life rich even before they started having dementia or memory care issues. All of that available at Park Provence as well. If it's just time to begin the conversation, or your loved one is ready for that assessment and to schedule a tour, reach out to them today. You can find them at parkprovence.com or 314-542-2500.
And now, KTRS weather.
Meteorologist Chance Gotch with your first alert forecast. We're tracking highs back towards the 30-degree mark both today and Wednesday afternoon. Looking mostly sunny today, but overnight lows tonight and Wednesday night going to be back towards the single digits. Then into Saturday morning, we've issued a first alert weather day as we're tracking lows back towards the negative 2-degree mark as Arctic air filters back into play. We'll look to warm up into next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch for the Big 550. KTRS.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We are here with the man, Ryan Raphael. He's the Medicare man of St. Louis. Ryan, one of the biggest misconceptions about Medicare when people reach the age of 65 is if they don't sign up at age 65, they get penalized.
So really what happens is when people are approaching 65, they get all the literature and things coming at them that looks like they have to do something. If somebody is working, they really do not have to sign up for Medicare as long as they're part of an employer of 20 or more employees and they can take it out down the road and not pay penalties.
So if you're over the age of 65 and you have not signed up for Medicare, there's no penalty. There's no reason why you can't do it at age 65, 66, or 67, or 70.
Correct. Yep.
That is Ryan Raphael. If you're approaching 65 and you have questions about Medicare, he is the man. The Medicare Man, STL.com, 314-368-6808, Ryan Raphael. And if you don't trust me, trust my nanny. My nanny says he's the best. Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man, MedicareManSTL.com.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, inviting you to join me October 24th as we journey in search of Iceland's magical Northern Lights with Colette. We're going to experience the land of fire and ice with a rare opportunity to search for the Northern Lights, one of nature's most dazzling light displays. We'll see steaming lava fields, massive glacier-sculpted mountains and valleys, not to mention thundering waterfalls. We'll travel the Golden Circle and walk on a black volcanic sand beach, plus relax in the warm, mineral-rich water of the Blue Lagoon. This and so much more. Colette handles the details from flights, meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Join me and call our friends at Altair Travel, 314-968-9600, or go to KTRS.com to learn more. That number again, 314-968-9600.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
All right, I think I did a talking point about this last week, that it's almost like incredible that all three of our sports professional teams are going through a rebuild at the exact same time.
That doesn't happen very often.
No. And, we know with the Cardinals what they're going through, and maybe Brendan Donovan stays, but they are giving up 3 stars. And we think what's going to happen with the Blues at the deadline being, 30th or 29th or, 31st, that they're going to have to move some of their players, because it makes no sense to keep them if you're going to make the playoffs, try to maybe rebuild. So now today the news is that Klaus, who has been the leading goal scorer over the 3-year stretch here at 27 or 28 goals, is being traded to the LA Galaxy for $2.375 million in cash. He was in the final year of his contract with City SC, and the club, which already had one of the league's largest piles of allocation money at $6 million, now can convert that money into allocation money to acquire other players that may be younger and that maybe they can keep under contract longer. Now, I'm texting with a City SC executive, and their response is a significant amount of money that can be reinvested into a roster for a player who is in the final year of his contract. So that's their thinking there.
Okay. So I was today years old, as I often am, because there's a lot of things in the world I didn't know. And when Connor told us on the break that it's different in soccer than it is in other sports. So being bad doesn't benefit you, because you don't all of a sudden get to be number one in the draft like you do in basketball or in football if you have a poor record. So it frees up money, but then how soon can you get somebody to fill that spot? And it's not going to be a quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow.
Okay.
But it just depends on them.
But it likely won't mean, this is my gut feel, is that they will not be as good a soccer team without Klaus next year. So, I mean, down the road, if this money is allocated in strategic ways and they have a new sporting director, maybe it does. But it's wild. All 3 teams at the same time. Thank God for the Billikens.
Well, and I'm no expert, but the games that I went to, it just looked like we had okay defense and no offense. Like there was just no ability to actually convert.
Will test, the coach they brought in last year did not believe in offense. And that was the most pathetic display of offensive soccer. And you're absolutely right on with your commentary.
Yeah, I mean, I was I'm sitting here watching. I was asking the people around me who were either season ticket holders or went a lot further. Both times, I was like, "Okay, tell me what I'm missing here." We seem to get the ball really close to the goal, and then there just doesn't seem to be anybody able to actually put it in the goal. And it was sort of like, no duh, that's exactly what's happening here. But I didn't realize that there was some strategy behind that. But I guess it's a strategy that ultimately has not worked out. For sure. Well, Mizzou's had some good close basketball games for sure. Are you feeling a little better about prospects these days?
Well, it'll be fun tonight. I mean, Alabama's going to be a daunting task in Tuscaloosa, but the game on Saturday kept you in line to make the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have lost that game at home to Oklahoma, maybe the worst team in the SEC, that would have been a daunting task to come back to try to make the tournament. But now you're right where you could be.
Somebody asked me a quick question before we go to break that I couldn't answer. How do you, in different sports departments at the stations or the sports writers in town, how do you track players when they go off into professional sports? Like, do you automatically know right now who the professional players are on that have St. Louis roots, who are on the Patriots and potentially on the Patriots or the Seahawks roster, so that you can have that local connection when you're covering those big stories? Or how does that happen?
Well, you just kind of know. There's not that many to begin with, so it's not tough to figure out that, what Mizzou players are on the Rams roster, what St. Louis players are on the Rams roster. So you kind of follow them, and you've known many of them since they were 18 years old or even younger. So.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds harder than that to me, but I guess it isn't. I'm not just talking about Mizzou players. I'm talking about everybody who's played in St. Louis that goes on to play for other programs. But
plus, if you ever forget, you can just hit a little Google. Professional NFL players from St. Louis. I'm sure that'll. Oh, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah. Well, I guess you don't forget about him. You keep. It seems complicated to me that because it seems like there are a lot playing for a lot of professional teams when at the aggregate, but I don't have the working knowledge that you guys do. Hey, before we go today, we've got a really fun interview. Something is happening at the St. Louis Transportation Museum that I think may prompt you to want to plan a visit there coming up in the not too distant future. We're going to tell you about that right after these messages. But first, Woods Basement Systems, our friends over at Woods. Right now, a lot of you are going, I got to worry about snow in my driveway. I'm not really thinking about water in my basement, or I'm not thinking about whether or not I have to worry about thinking about my gutters on my house, those kinds of things. But the truth is, it's actually a really good time to think ahead. If you already knew that the gutters on your house were barely getting by, trust me, several pounds of what I've seen around the neighborhood when I was walking the dog yesterday, several pounds of icicles that are dragging them down, that get them out of alignment, that mean that you don't have the proper drainage from your house. Or maybe you realized it's really cold this year, and by the way, your bills are a little higher than you want them to be. Perhaps the crawl space in your home is not insulated, and winters like this really make you pay for it. Or perhaps you knew you got a little water in the spring last year where you were hoping it doesn't come back. The bad news is when you get a little water somewhere, once it's found its way into your house, through all the things that happen to our houses as they age, even if they're not that old, it's probably coming back. Now's a really good time to be proactive, to pick up the phone, to go online, reach out to Woods Basement Systems and say, come out and have the conversation now. Let me know what kind of dollars we're talking about if I make XYZ change. So before they get slammed with the summer or spring storms that we know will be coming, or the other issues that always hit us like a ton of bricks in the spring, winter's a really good time to be proactive about these things, to get those appointments so that you can plan ahead. Recommend you do it today. Pick up the phone, 618-708-4055, woodsbasementsystems.com.
Get your reservations in now for Bishop's Post. Bishop's Post. They have the best version of your classic favorites. Located in Chesterfield, Bishop's Post is the perfect spot for that celebration.
The University of Missouri St. Louis offers academic programs at the undergraduate, graduate, doctoral, and professional levels to fit any passion, purpose, and schedule. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show. This Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Bijou Chocolates in Webster Groves is bringing chocolate jewels to St. Louis. Owner and chocolatier Maggie Mobley and her talented staff create artisan, hand-painted chocolates with the perfect combination of science and art. Bijou Chocolates are so much more than delicious, sweet treats. They create the handmade, meticulous works of art right inside their store in Webster Groves. For directions and hours, visit bijouchocolates.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green. Online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Hey, it's Heidi Glaus, and I want to remind you to tune in to the Heidi Glaus Show with Bob Ramsey and Josh Gilbert weekdays from 3 to 6. You don't want to miss all the fun. Plus, twice a month, we're joined by Dr. Ravi Johar, the Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare. Dr. Johar and United Healthcare will keep us informed and educated about everything happening in the healthcare system, plus important facts to keep us healthy. United Healthcare and the Heidi Glaus Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to luptonmillardchapel.com.
Rediscover the timeless classic of The Wizard of Oz as your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs the iconic score live with the 1939 film on the big screen. Join Dorothy and her friends as she follows the yellow brick road to Oz and faces the Wicked Witch of the West. Don't miss this truly Technicolor event, January 30th through February 1st at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
The holidays are over, time to relax and get back to the daily routine. January is a great time to enjoy the casual, comfortable atmosphere at Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. Gingham's was voted the #1 breakfast by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, but we offer so much more. Great daily specials throughout the week, some of the best pies you've ever tasted, and our soups can't be beat. Anything you want, anytime you want, 24 hours a day, and some of the best service anywhere. Visit us at ginghamsrestaurant.com. Stay warm.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
So glad you're with us on the Frank and Jill show today. We've had a really fun show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy here. And the National Transportation of Museum is celebrating 100 years of Route 66. And if you remember, Frank, not that long ago, I think it was last month, we had Dan Gray in our Success St. Louis segment. And he talked about the fact that people every day in Sullivan, Missouri at the coffee shop that he and his wife run come in from across the world, particularly Europe, because they're so excited about Route 66. There's just a lot of both national and international intrigue, and St. Louis is recognizing, probably a little late to the game, how important we are to the whole Route 66 story. And that is one of the reasons that the National Museum of Transportation is putting together a special exhibit celebrating the 100th anniversary of Route 66. Kobe Ellison, curator for the museum, is here to tell us what we can expect in this special exhibit. Thanks for being here, Kobe.
Hey, no problem. One of the highlights of the exhibit is a huge model of the SS Admiral that the local sheet metal union, Local 36, is restoring. It was originally built in the 1980s. They've since basically reclaimed it, and a bunch of the retirees have spent a ton of time and a ton of work really bringing it back to its glory. And so we're really excited about that. I think it's going to bring a lot of attention, not just for the Route 66 people, but for a lot of the St. Louis folks that maybe haven't been to the museum for a minute. It's 20 feet by 5 feet by 4 feet. So it's a pretty significant, exhibit. Then we also have some other accoutrements and items, and even a living history of people's memories from the Admiral. So we have that. And then we also have the Warrenburg Popcorn Express, which I'm sure a lot of people from St. Louis may remember from maybe parades and things like that. And what we're hoping to do also is kind of tie in the claim with the drive-in culture. And people, again, a lot of people, especially the younger folks, can't even really identify with what the drive-ins were. But we're tying that in as well. Then we also have our Coral Courts motel that some volunteers rescued as they were going to demo the Coral Courts, and we have one of the units recreated in our auto building.
Wow!
Which is really that's a really unique piece of history as well. And then we also have some neon from other motels and things like that. So we also are kind of on the circuit, I guess, for lack of a better word, for those folks that come over from foreign countries to, visit the Route 66 experience. And so we're really hoping to capitalize on that. We have some groups already from Great Britain that are coming over, and we're highlighting the various decades of the automobile kind of history while Route 66 was basically in its heyday. So yeah, we're really kind of trying to capitalize on this and hopefully make some people that normally haven't been to the museum in, who knows, 20, 30 years, come back and visit us. That's our big goal right now, is to, we talk to a lot of the visitors when they come in, and we say, like, is this your first time here? And they say, oh, no, I haven't been here since my grandkids were 5. And we're like, well, how old are they now? And they're like 30. And we're like, well, you need to come back. I mean, we're kind of like this hidden treasure. A lot of people don't realize, where we are or what we are. And, we just celebrated our 80th anniversary, believe it or not, in the city. And yet you meet people and it's almost like we've been forgotten. And we're trying to really change that.
Kobe Ellison from the National Museum of Transportation. People are going to want to check out the historic Route 66 exhibit, Roads, Rivers, Rooms, and Reels. I mean, it just sounds absolutely incredible. We want to hear more about it at a future date. But in the meantime, you can see more about it online if you go to the National Museum of Transportation website. Kobe, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Hey, thanks. It's my pleasure. And thanks for reaching out.
Okay, everybody, we hope you have an incredible day. Stay safe, stay warm. We'll be back here tomorrow on the Frank and Jill Show. Of course, Carney and Buck are up next, along with Max as well. Make it a great day, everybody. You deserve it.
Hey, it's Heidi, and if the new year means a new look for your home, look no further than Dalco Home Remodeling. Let me just tell you, customers could not be happier. If you're looking for new windows, Dalco Home Remodeling has you covered. If you're looking for a new door, they can custom make you a front door. They can do French doors, they can do sliding doors, and they can stain it or paint it to whatever you have going on or whatever